Welcome back to multiplayer mode.
We survived, made it out, we got the key.
It's true.
Things are good.
There wasn't that many dick scientists. It was
a
all okay.
Just a demon and a couple burglars.
So, if you think about that, I was just thinking about this. If you think about this town, this town's kind of sad. It's on an island. There's an old, abandoned, not a factory, a lab?
Yeah.
Right, so several story lab, a shop, a gym, a Poké Center, and 2 people. An old man and a red-haired girl.
It's like, we're the only ones here. We're gonna have to repopulate.
Oh, God! Alright, well, that's not where I was going, but...
You pointed it out, I couldn't resist.
A pervy old man
yeah.
and a red-haired lady.
It's like, I think there's actually some people in that building.
No, not at all. What are you talking about?
Don't go in there. They're ghosts. Oh, I should have switched my guys. Whatever. Okay.
Paul.
We got Flareon out, who took
Yeah.
an explosion to the face.
It's true.
Flareon's a man now.
No longer disappointed dad.
Yep.
He's on his own.
Yep, he pays taxes now.
Gyarados time. Probably.
Yeah, I'll bring him in next.
Yeah. You'll quick first.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh, you bitch.
We were talking about
Just lengths of games.
yeah,
and,
lengths of
like
games and
quantity
things.
of content and stuff like that.
And yeah, so like the whole open world trend is kind of interesting because I feel like there's kind of 2 competing trends. There's like the open world video game trend and the super on rails 1 quarter to go down sort of trend. Like with shooters and a lot of games like that. Honestly, there's like story mode is just literally like it's on rails.
A lot of
Just shoot things.
And then, like, a lot of horror right now is very, like, tight,
Yeah.
closed
Right.
areas.
Which makes sense
kinda
for
stuff.
horror, I think.
Yeah.
But I'd still like to see a more open world sort of horror thing. I think that could be cool. Like
Yeah, that would be
actually a
interesting.
survival horror game.
Yeah, like a survival in the wilderness.
Yeah.
Kinda
I
deal.
know people have made those obviously, but
Yeah.
like it just seems popular right now to do like enclosed space sort of.
Yeah, it seems like, what is it? Resident Evil, great example. What used to be a very, like, I guess it was always kind of tight quarters, but it was, like, arcadey upscaling through, like, almost Metroidvania-ish.
Yeah.
And, like, after PT came out, it, in my opinion, followed the Silent Hill motto quite closely with its latest one, which
Yeah, you're probably
isn't a bad thing, it's just interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just kind of interesting that there's like 2 trends there. But I feel like the open world one is kind of it's cool. I feel like it's opening up concepts that are like not open world but open level, where you like have levels or like areas that are just more open gameplay.
Yeah.
And I actually like that a lot more than just like, because I was talking about this earlier, but like just a developer saying like make it open world and put some shit in it for people to do.
Right.
I'd much prefer like, actually Tomb Raider is a great example. There's a lot of shit to do in Tomb Raider. But it's not necessarily seamless open world. So like, but it works really well because the like each area is like you have a lot of options. And every encounter with bad guys is not... It's not as simple as me just being like, well, time to get out the AK-47. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, I can actually do things in most encounters.
And sometimes you gotta be really stealthy and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, seriously, and that's what I like about it. Like,
And, yeah, from little of what I saw with Tomb Raider, what I like about the stealth is it seems like there's some environmental utilization in it, like that part where you like pull the guy under to drown him in a lake you were swimming in, kind of thing. It's like I've never seen that before.
That's really
and there are
cool.
like other parts where like you're climbing on buildings. I guess that's a little more common, but I mean there's a lot of explosives, a lot of things you could set on fire, like a lot of stuff like that.
And every encounter is kind of like a puzzle.
Yeah,
it's really, really cool. Yeah. And then The other good thing about Tomb Raider is you still get the awesome action sequences.
Oh,
Where
yeah.
you're like running off of a collapsed building is always the classic one.
Pretty much.
But like those are really great and fun sequences to play.
Yeah,
so, like,
yeah.
It's nice that there's both.
It's a very nice mix of like interactive theatrics. I suppose.
Yeah.
Which also can be very hard to do.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
Yeah. Yeah, all I have in my mind is Final Fantasy 15 with all these things. But,
Oh, yeah.
they were experimenting with that a while ago, but it was one of the many, many things they, like, threw away.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And, yeah, I don't know. There are things like Final Fantasy and Zelda, which, I mean, I guess beforehand you wouldn't say they were in the realm of open world, but they were always like really, really large games.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
You think about Zelda a lot too with the open world. Like Breath of the Wild, people will say this is the first open world Zelda, but I mean, you think back to Link to the Past, which was, I guess, a large game in its time, and the big thing was, I mean, even with the first Zelda, you could go into any dungeon you wanted.
Yeah, that's
kind of
true.
thing. There was a lot of free reign, which
Yeah.
I think is a very important element to I think what would make an open world game good,
Yeah.
in my opinion, is like you can kind of set your own path, but you're still overall making progress in
Yeah.
the game, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, that was similar to like the Mario 64 worlds kind of thing, which, like, in my opinion, haven't been quite like that since. Like, Sunshine did have a lot of that, but was kind of moving into the direction of, like, linearity or whatever you call it.
Okay.
And then, but yeah, Zelda's really interesting because, like, it for their times, they always did seem to be pushing the limits of what they were doing. And, you think about, I talked about this a little the other day with Ocarina's Hyrule Field, and then Wind Waker's Ocean is a really good example.
Yeah.
Where, like, that's definitely open world. Now, would you say, you know Wind Waker pretty well?
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you say generally other open world games have more content within their expanses?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would. I think the reason people, I don't know, the reason people and me actually call this what looks like the first open world Zelda is that it feels like the encounters and the world, like, Wind Waker is broken up by a lot of traveling. And, like, so is, like, Twilight Princess or Skyward Sword. There's, like, a lot of traveling between areas. But Breath of the Wild seems like one big persistent map. Kind of like what you were talking about with the 2D Zelda, where you can just go anywhere you want.
Yeah.
And solve the dungeons in the order that you want. It feels like this is the first, not the first 3D Zelda, but, like, the first one that is, like, basically a big-ass persistent map.
Mm-hmm.
Just one big persistent map.
Mm-hmm.
So in that way, it's more of a modern open world game.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
They strive for, like, ultimate, like, seamlessness between everything.
Right.
Kind of thing.
And, like, you could come across a huge-ass mountain and, like, I'm going over that.
Yeah.
When in, like, unless it's Wind Waker, which, if you see an island, you'll probably go to it in Wind Waker. But, like, in other Zelda games, it's kind of like, well, it's not that open. Like, you can't really do... You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, I guess thinking about it with Ocarina, every time you went into a town or village, it would fade transition into it, kind of thing.
Well, which, I mean, isn't a problem, right?
Yeah.
It's just that, like, it feels
That's
more
kind of
segmented
one
that
of the
way.
defining things of current open world.
Right.
Yeah. And I guess, I guess it would be hard to say, but, I guess Wind Waker and Ocarina, for a majority, was restricted by the story. It's like it was very open, but you gotta go here. You gotta go here now, kind of thing. And
yeah.
I mean,
And that's the other thing too. Is
Yeah,
it
yeah.
feels more modern open world in that you always have like the main quest line,
Mm-hmm.
but like the side quests don't open up; they're just there.
yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? Where in
Yeah.
like most Zeldas, it's like, oh, now you can go do this little thing with this dude, and like that's
Right.
a side thing.
The extras would be achieved after a bunch of stuff, kind of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
after you
yeah.
complete most of the game. But
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild feels more like, at least obviously this is from what we've all heard. We
Mhm.
haven't actually played it yet, but just from what I've heard, it feels more like, oh no, it's just there, and like there's side quests,
Yeah,
storylines,
yeah.
and stuff.
And it definitely feels like that too, like focusing on like so much nature and your environment and stuff, and it's like you just wake up and you're out there.
Yeah,
Figure out what the heck's going on, kind of thing.
yeah, it's a cool.
Really interesting.
Yeah, it's a cool
Really
idea.
interesting.
But I don't know. I'm excited for Breath of the Wild, and I'm excited to see some of the creativity with the items. And,
Yeah.
and different ways of getting past enemies and getting past puzzles and stuff. Because that's the other thing about the game is that it feels very like you can do a number of things
Right.
to get past a certain area. Oh, I guess we should be right back.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be right back.
Bye.